Coke Machine for Real Fishing. Sorry I'm late. I got into a bit of a wrestling match with my minnow bag because Trapper Joe, who apparently is still at the Trapper Joe place on Trout Lake Road, wound up that bag with the tape a little too heartily. Anyway, so giving you a lake update. That was not me passing gas, FYI. That was actually my boots. Okay, I know, classic excuse, but it was. So, um, the lake is very snowy now. There's lots of drifts on it. There's definitely some thick snow. The launch at Sunset Park, which is where I came in here, is messy. It's definitely got some deep grooves in it. People are still out parked in the parking lot here, but still, that launch is not looking great. The ice road has some deep grooves in it as well. It's thinner in places and thicker in other places as far as how thick the snow is, but people are definitely still driving on it, and it's a bit messy. There's definitely, like I said, drifts. I drilled a hole right here. I'm sitting on 20 inches, just over 20 inches of ice. So there's lots of ice. There's people driving around here for sure in their trucks and having a good old time. Um, I was on my way to South Shore there, and then I guess Al at Lake Nipissing Outfitters there, he was a little bit behind schedule, so he said maybe not today, and I was like, well, that's good or that's all right because I got my clam hut, the tent on my clam hut this morning, so I'm definitely ready to go, or at least I thought I was ready to go. And then of course there's all the little things you miss, you forget about that you need when you're going out on your own. Just like a harness for my sled here. And then you remember how much harder it is to haul your sled across the snow. I've been getting used to having people drive me out places. So a bit of a change up for me, even though this is the way I used to always fish. It's just, in the clam flip hut. Things are looking good in the clam. The squirrels didn't get it too bad this year. However, the stand to the chairs is pretty badly rusted. I don't have really great storage solutions going on for where I keep my hut here. Um, so this report is brought to you by Home Hardware. Just so you know, Home Hardware is a great place to get plumbing supplies, spud bars, ice fishing gear, all sorts of stuff. Paint, toilets. You can get toilets there. And then everything, man. Every time I need to find something, I'm just like, you know what? I can go Canadian Tire, but I live closer to Home Hardware. I might as well check there first. And a lot of times they have all this stuff. So I'm going to start fishing now. Actually, I'm going to turn the camera around here because you can see a guy who's out there in a car. Let's see if I can get him on the zoom there. Oh, yeah. There he is. Wonder if he's rethinking his plan or if he's jammed. I heard a lot of people were getting stuck out here. So I don't know. He seems to have stopped dead. Hopefully he's not totally jammed up there. Anyway, will you guys watch that car and ponder whether or not he's stuck? I'm going to put a minnow on one clapper and then a minnow on another clapper. Whoop. Well, looks like the guy's getting the shovel out. So I'm going to say he's a little bit stuck. All right. Yeah, it's pretty thick out here even to drive with a truck. I think your car might be a bit of a pickle. Like that guy just stopped there, so I think there isn't a lot of clearance, and there's definitely some snow out there that would definitely bottom out your car. So I'm gonna say that's what's going on. So I'm in 14 feet of water, not super deep. I have is my first time fishing in Sunset Park here today. Get my sorry, I'm just gonna get everything set up here, and then I'll get the camera on the gear here. All right, so I got a minnow, one spot right on the bottom. I think that hopefully he's able to clear himself out. There was a truck just went by. Maybe somebody will have mercy on him. It doesn't look like he's too bundled up either. He's not ready for a day of freezing on the ice. Okay. Well, he's in the car now, so maybe he's getting the upper hand. Oh. Hold on a second here. So I feel like when I wasn't paying attention, I feel like my other minnow was just tampered with in some serious way. Let's see here. Okay, so I'll give you guys updates on how this guy's car situation is going, but we'll turn it around here now and get rid of fish. It's a little chilly. Not too bad. It's quite decent compared to how it has been. I just want to check my minnow here. Oh, still there. So it's funny. There was a guy who contacted me lately who he wanted a minnow clapper that was like this. I was selling them with willow blades on them, and they weren't selling really well. And I personally had not too much luck with them. And he had me do a custom order of 10 of them because he said that he was just killing the wallies with it in the French River there. He bought 4 different ones, and he's like, this is the one that really seems to be working. So I was like, all right, well, I'll make 10 of them, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera around so you guys can see my fish finder. And let's see what's going on. Yeah, I didn't Nipissing hard water. I didn't necessarily pick that minnow because I thought it was a giant, but definitely is a big one. See, this is the thing. I haven't been out in this setup for a while, so I'm gonna have to sort of see how I can set things up so you guys can see the screens and stuff. Okay. Do some adjustments here. Whoop. Okay. Oh, that's not good. All right, give me a second here. Seemed like a good idea at the time. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry, I keep saying all right. But we're going now. We're fishing now. So I got, like Nipissing Hardwater said there, I had a giant minnow on one. I'm sort of dancing my own lures around each other here. Of course, my two lures are pretty close to each other. I'm gonna do a dead stick one though. Have the other one go in. Just gonna go through some of these comments here. So I'm gonna give you a straight up answer. The guy in his car is still stuck. Yeah, it was -20 this morning, David Bennett, and then it was warming up. Sometimes on Thursdays, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go fishing in the morning, because a lot of times, I got to get up pretty early to get my kid to school. So I'm just like, well, since I'm up. But this morning, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this morning and complete some errands. I got some, I don't know, just like some printout things from Staples to go with my selling lures at Birch Grove Park. Of course, tomorrow I don't know if I'm going to be at Birch Grove Park because my son has a PD day, so I'd have to convince him to come with me. So we'll see if that plays out. I know he's got big schemes for playing Lego with me tomorrow. And that's okay. When I was a kid, I used to play Lego all the time, and it was the best. And I loved it. And so he and I have a lot of fun building stuff with Lego. But if I do manage to get him to come with me to the Birch Grove parking lot to sling a few clappers there, it'll probably be briefly for like an hour maybe. And I was thinking about taking him ice fishing at Deepwater Point tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how it is. If it's too windy, we'll see what's going on. I'm not sure what the wind conditions are going to be tomorrow. But I actually have never gone to the Deepwater Point access point. Like I've been to the access point. I just haven't fished there. I know a lot of people do fish there. I feel like I've fished a lot of the other places, maybe not a lot in Sturgeon Falls, but definitely along the North Bay shore here and a little bit in South, or obviously a bunch in South Bay. So I realized my second lure there was pretty far off the bottom. So I think the trouble with this guy getting his car out is going to definitely be like getting it turned around. Because not only does he have to get loose from being bottomed out, but he's also got to turn the thing around to drive back, unless he drives back in reverse. See, I think on my radar there, the one that's staying put is my dead stick. Yeah. So it's just under a foot. And then the one that's moving, that's my active rod. Now I heard word, I haven't heard a word from people that are fishing Sunset, but I know people are sort of saying that the bite has been slow the last few days in the South Bay. If anybody has any info, please do tell. Yeah, Outfish Ontario says fishing live is a juggle. It definitely is, especially when I'm trying to do like sort of the point of view fishing here, where I've got a tripod. Like one day I'll have to ask somebody to take a picture of me doing this, because I got a tripod between my legs, so it's sort of between me and the hole, and I'm trying to get the radar here or the fish finder in the shot so you guys can see when things are happening, because a lot of times, especially when there's not a lot of fish biting, the most exciting thing you're gonna get is the fish finder. I'm trying to have it close enough to see it yet, The problem is my tripod here only bends so far, so I can't get it. The way it's all set up. Is it like the guy says, like Fish Ontario says, it's a juggle. David Bennett says, get all set up first, then go live. Yeah. Sometimes it works out like that, and sometimes it does not. As you can see, I was late for my own party. Dizzy Dumont says, big one coming shortly. I can feel it. Yeah, when somebody told me that fishing's been slow lately, I'm like, well, then I guess it's due. It's due to pick up. And there was a definite change in weather here from cold to warmer. So, it might not be something that makes things better right away. But maybe in the couple days of warmer temperatures, we'll see things pick up. Jeff Burnett, how are you doing tonight? G Star 1414 says, yo, Coke, I want to get back to Nipissing. It was awesome. Yeah, how did that? You guys caught a bunch of fish, I think. Yeah, you sent me a message. Nipissing Hardwater says, watching it as it gives me the motivating itch to go tomorrow. G Star 1414, where's the best place to catch jumbos on Nipissing? I feel like I knew that once. I feel like along the North Shore here, it used to be really awesome for jumbos. I remember when I was in Yellick, there having some crazy jumbo days where you could only fish with one rod because they would come in so thick that you couldn't manage two rods. And then I haven't seen days like that for a while, so I guess the dynamics of the lake change over time. And I'm sure the perch go in cycles. You get tons of them and then quiet periods. Yeah, I wonder what that floating object going up is. Bubble, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna put my lure right on the bottom here. Frank Lupo says, hey Coke, how's it going? What's up, everyone? It's going pretty good. Bit of a rough start for me here because I was my first time out in my clam hut. So I forgot a bunch of stuff, and then there's a few prep things you always forget. Jeff says, are you going to Birch Grove tomorrow? I may try to get there for a period. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, my kid's on PD day, so if I am there, it'll be with him. So we'll see what if he's willing to do that. He seemed, last time I suggested we do that, he had a good laugh at it. It's a funny thing, slinging lures in a parking lot. A different way to sell them, that's for sure. But it's fun. It's fun. I get to meet lots of people too. Canadian fishing musician. Hey Coke, I met a buddy that won some fishing stuff from you. He did a shout out to you as I recorded him. You mind if I post it and tag you? Yeah, feel free. I feel like you asked me that before. But yeah, feel free. Jeff Burnett says it was slow last Thursday. Sat Friday with decent marked lots. We're not interested. Jacob Shannon. Jacob, did you get your limestone lure stuff? The limestone lure guy actually asked me if I'd heard from you, if you'd got the package yet. Yeah, Trapper Joe. Sorry, I was just reading Nipissing Islander here. Bernie says, plowed my trail over to my shack and ran into some slush. Fortunately, not too deep yet. Yeah, slush. Trapper Joe speculated there would be a lot of slush on the lake today, and on my walk out here, I didn't see any slush, fortunately. But I can imagine there's probably some coming out. Okay, so the guy in the car has backed up a bit, and you can tell he tried to turn it around, but he's having to dig it out again. Just so you know. Nipissing Hardwater says, I think the jumbos are down in numbers. Probably walleyes are up. Yeah, it's probably the case. Yeah, I remember, the first few years of living up here, I was catching jumbos. Never seen them that big before. Yeah, I found that in South Bay, G-Star 1414 says, I saw one jumbo the whole weekend. I found in South Bay, the times I'm fishing there, I don't nearly see as many jumbos as I used to see when I lived in the Yellock area. Okay, so Canadian fishing musician. He said, my buddy Jacob won some fishing tackle from Coke. Happened to meet him on the ice, record him as he gave Coke a shout out. We're just waiting for him to receive the tackle. Yeah, Jacob actually contacted me recently and said he hadn't received the limestone lure package. And then I contacted Limestone Lures, and I'm not sure what the cause for delay was, but it should be. It was mailed to him last week, so hopefully he's getting it ASAP. So Frank Lupo says I always catch jumbo perch in 25 to 30 feet of water. I used to catch them in 15 to 19 feet of water when I was catching them. When I was catching them in hordes, so I guess they're all over the place. When I was a kid, I used to catch them in off the rocks at the Y Marina in Midland there. That's where I got the bug for fishing. So your wife caught a 36-inch big pike. Shout out to Kelly. Out fishing your son and sorry, I was wondering. My lure, I guess, got frozen to the side of the hole there. So on Lake Simcoe, you sight fish. Big John Doe, 1971. 2-liter size perch. Is that like the size of a 2-liter bottle? So that would be definitely an impressive fish. I know on Nip we can't really sight fish them. I know Simcoe, you got really clear water there, eh? Yeah, Frank, this hut's the Clam Nanook 2 thermal. I put a thermal. I originally it didn't have the thermal tent on it, but after after a bit, I decided that why not? At the time, I had a few extra shekels to put into a thermal tent. It's done okay. I mean, aside from you know, aside from squirrels getting into it, but of course, I take the tent off in the summertime and pack that away inside. But the squirrels definitely dig at my seats and wrote a whole song about it. See, so Jacob Shannon, you're you're gonna get a whitefish this weekend. Are you going to Simcoe for that? I need to. I haven't been to Simcoe in years and years and years, but I'd love to go fishing down there sometime for some whitefish. Uh, I see so many people posting about it. I Simcoe is where I started ice fishing, but it was like, yeah, we were power noobs, you know. we didn't know, we didn't know what we were doing. Um, so I think my one buddy caught one whitefish, and that was good. We were showing up with like no electronics, no nothing, just sort of like crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. Um, Joe Conley, we were at Fish Bay last weekend. Our luck was during the morning and the evening bite, 7 to 11 and 4 to 9. Yeah, yeah, definitely. The morning bite is really worth uh, getting into. I know, like I've gotten a lot more into the morning bite when I go camping in the summer because it's like my one chance to get out when my wife and kid are still sleeping. I just sort of sneak out and try to catch a few wallies before everybody wakes up. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, Nipissing, I definitely find the morning and the evening are always great times to be out. So Bernie, you said you fished last Saturday and the bite was good. Not sure what it's been like since then, eh? So Canadian fishing musician, you're bringing out the snowmobile for the weekend. When I was walking out here, I was like, yeah, I should probably get myself a snowmobile. And I see everyone else ripping around. But my brother's got a snowmobile and I watch him all the time, spend all kinds of money on it. And I don't really have a heck of a lot of extra bones to throw into a money pit. G Star 1414 say you really hate the slot size on Nipissing. I definitely remember when I first moved up and you could get two and they just had to be like under a certain size. And yeah, it was a lot easier to get your meal in. Oh. Okay. So the guy in the car, he okay, he's a little more in view right now, so I'm gonna turn the camera around so you guys can get a look at progress. He's moved forward and backwards. Okay. Okay. So there he is. I'm not having great success with it focusing on him, but I guess it's there we go. So he's gone backwards and then he's gone forward again a bit. And so far it looks like he's still I guess he's slowly getting it around. He's definitely gonna have to turn it around. I haven't seen anybody in any trucks come out and try to help him out yet. So looks like he's trying to shuffle it. Is he gonna do it? Boy, it's like my wife's car was getting stuck on her driveway, so you wouldn't catch me driving a car out here. Oh, he's coming for me. Oh, he's trying to go for the fast turn here. Oh, he's peeling. He's going further. All right. Well, there you have it. He's off screen. Oh, he's turning. He might just catch him on his way back. All right. I think this guy's going to make it out of here. Uh-oh. All right, so he managed to turn it around, but now he's stuck again. So back to fishing for a bit. I'll keep you updated. Well, you got to turn around, so it's getting somewhere. So I haven't seen any fish come in on the radar yet. On the fish finder. Yeah. Well, it's not every day I get to see somebody get really jammed up on the ice out here. It's not that I'm taking any pleasure in seeing the guy get stuck. I hope he gets out of here. I don't imagine he's too happy about being jammed on the lake here. I'm sure as soon as he got stuck, he was just like, oh no, now I've done it. Yeah, no. John Doe, 1971. I liked the comparison to the 2-liter bottles there. Footballs is a common one, but I'm always game for fresh descriptions of fish sizes. So if I ever catch one that's the size of a 2-liter, I will definitely make use of that comparison. Yeah, G-Star 1414. It is definitely hard to catch them in that very specific zone. It's like there's so many that are a little bit under, a little bit over. Hopefully all these super strict regulations on things result in some very healthy populations. Snowmobile guy going past here. So Jeff, you say KVG Fishing put out an awesome jumbo fishing video yesterday on Nip. I'll have to check that out. I've been meaning to chat with that guy a little bit more, but I ran into him at No Frills one day where he was working. I don't know if he works there anymore. Maybe he's got another spot he's working. Nipissing Islander, Bernie says perch numbers are way down from what they used to be. Possibly the cormorant population is taking its toll. Yeah. Is the cormorant population really big around? Like I remember when I lived on the lake, I used to see them in big flocks, just like drumming up bait, like just sweeping the whole lake in front of a place there. I know they're pretty voracious feeders. So Big Dong Devil says just joined back. How's the car? Oh, the car. The guy went further in the car and he managed to turn it around. So he's at least facing the shore, but he's also, it looks like he's back out with the shovel again. So I guess he's gonna be at it for a while, no doubt. Things are coming along. So the Goji says, "Hey Coke, how are you doing, Goji?" Steve, you're heading out to Lake Erie tomorrow. They are killing the walleye. Is it? Does Erie freeze right over, or is it just like in bays and maybe closer to shore? It seems like there's a lot of ice fishing that goes down in certain places where it's like they get ice close to shore, they start ice fishing it, but they never like wait for the lake to finish right up. I guess here on Nip, we sort of usually the lake is finished up to some extent by the opener, and I guess we have that whole month where nothing's open on this lake at least. But I was hearing people fishing on the Ottawa River, and I fished the Ottawa River up this way in the fall and the summer, but I've never ice fished it. I'd be a little worried. I get worried about rivers, you know. So Steve, you're not sure you're going with your buddy. He knows a good spot. I've heard word that yeah, Erie's really full of those walleyes down there. There's one guy there. Shout out to sorry, I know Bill Defoe was telling me he was fishing for walleye on Erie. Shout out to Bill. And he said, yeah, he was telling me that there were schools that you can see from an airplane. Huge schools. So yeah. So another update on the car guy. He's out shoveling again. But yeah, he was definitely, it looks like he might be getting some help. He's got his trunk open. No. Starting to cool down a little bit out here. Yeah, Outfish Ontario says he probably needs to shovel a good long way and then send it. That's for sure. I agree with that. Of course, like he's on the ice road, so it's like there's some portions of it that are really packed down, which might cause some issues with some shoveling just in a few places. So the Goji says, you've tried the Grand River, no luck. People are pulling them out of there. Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, I was seeing on the Lake Nipissing ice fishing board the other day that, like, trucks were getting stuck in this stuff. So, and I think they got pulled out. But that car, it's like I feel like they're gonna need a truck to pull them along. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So the Goji says, would I be able to drive out on Calendar Bay? Are you driving a car or are you driving a truck? If it's a truck, I think you're going to be good. Just with the snow, I definitely would say that a car is not a great choice. But there might be worn down roads in Calendar Bay. I haven't been there since this big snowstorm. Like we've had a couple of good days of snow, and it's snowing right now out on the lake. So Um, so Bernie says, I wouldn't recommend driving off trail with a vehicle now. Wise words, Bernie. Wise words. I I personally never drive a vehicle on the ice, so I don't have a lot of input into what the keys to it are. I only walk out or, or ride in vehicles. So Bernie says he still see big flocks of cormorants, but not quite as many as a few years ago. I know they had like changed the hunting season to include them, but my understanding of cormorants is they kind of taste fishy, which makes sense because they're fish birds. Um, but yeah, they adjusted the hunting season so that you could hunt for them. Of course, the hunters that are would be trying to cull the cormorants. You know, it's like I don't know. I know there's recipes out there for how to cook them, and I'm sure there's a way to do it so they don't taste so fishy. But you know, if you're depending on hunters to just go out and clear out a bunch of the cormorant population, you know, they're paying all the big bucks to use their ammo and all that stuff. And I think a lot of people are hunting for food, not just trying to shoot things. But Jeff Burnett says we got 32 last weekend. Last week only 4 in the slot. They were just over or just under, and only 4 perch. We got 72 12er. Week before, you got 72 12er in slot. Oh. It's amazing how different the fishing can be one week and then another week. Eh? It's like 32 versus 72. Those are great numbers. So Mushroom Mojo B says Erie 75% covered this year. How deep does Erie get? Is it a relatively shallow lake like Nipissing, or is there like some deep water in it? I mean, there is some deep water in Nipissing, but not like deep, deep, deep. Dizzy Dumont, fish are freezing down there. Got to catch one and warm her up in a pan. So Nipissing Hardwater says, I find those ice roads get drifty and sometimes worse. Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely like lots of really thick, drifty spots when I was walking out here where I guess people in ATVs had really, you know, dug some holes going over it. It's always nice. Like, you know, ATVs are obviously a great way to get out here. Snowmobiles, though, for a guy who's walking out a snowmobile trail is the best because it, like, you know, it's packed down. Just taking a peek at this guy. Oh, Wayne Foreman. How are you doing, man? Thanks a lot for the Ioyo camera, buddy. I was going to bring it out today, but I got here kind of late, and I realized I'm going to be taking my boyo out there tomorrow. Or at least I'm hoping to get him out at Deepwater Point tomorrow. And he's the guy who really likes using those cameras. I like using them, but he uses them for, as he says, hunting for pirate treasure. Which, you know, if that keeps him entertained and on the ice, then I'm happy about it. Ryan Sinnott just left Nipissing, was slow bite all week. Nice to see you, Coke. I ran into Ryan in Lake Nipissing Outfitters, I think. No. North Bay Outfitters, the store there, a few years back, I think. I believe that's the same guy. Yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow the bite's gonna be on for all the guys coming up. so, so Corey, you said that Phil is in the next hut. Like which one you mean? Like another pop up, or are you guys out in a permanent here? Because I am out here on Sunset, and it is pretty busy out here. Yeah, CW. I heard that you didn't have to eat the cormorants. You know that they allowed you to get rid of them. Yeah, Jeff Burnett. That sounds like good strategy. You say you always go by what the locals say about driving on the ice, so they know best. Yeah. So Ryan, you say 3 keepers in 5 days with 5 guys. Yeah, that's always. I mean, it's good to have a couple keepers, but that's definitely some slow days. So Bernie, you say the deepest spot you found was 210. Where is that? I was thinking we had a max of like 60 near the islands there, but maybe towards the French River. 210. That's getting into lake trout style turf. So Nipissing Hardwater said you were out Thursday and the Wallies were slamming the spoon. Sean Zabo says, make a plan to go next Monday to Wednesday. Oh. You guys are on a 3-night overnight. Hey, who are you guys out with? Or are you doing ice camping? So, Corey, you're talking the red hut that's closer to shore from me? Because I see a guy with an orange hat on by a red hut. If you're talking to pop up, I did not find my stolen stuff. No, I got to meet got to go to the police station, got to meet the hawk shop people, been scanning the marketplace, and Kijiji. I imagine people have a strategy where they buy stuff or steal stuff, buy stuff. I wish they'd just buy their own stuff, but no, steal stuff, probably hide it somewhere for a while, wait for the heat to pass, and then take it into a hawk shop, or probably the strategy might be to go to somewhere else with it. The guy in the hawk shop in North Bay here said that in a lot of the stolen stuff from North Bay ends up in Sturgeon Falls, and a lot of stuff from Sturgeon Falls ends up here. Home Vampire. I have not seen any snow dogs out and about here. I remember on shortly after opener, I remember running into a dude who had a husky. Same kind of idea. So I'm giving a shout out to Dave Parent's granddaughter, Marley. How are you doing out there? Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, don't forget to hit the like button here. So Bernie says just a small area near the end of an island near the French River mouth. Wow, Bernie, you've really taken a long hard look at this lake, eh? I guess you and your family have a super long history here. Let me see if I can give you an update on this car. All right, so it looks like the dude, he seems to be parked close to a hut. I wonder, his lights are off. I wonder if that was the hut he was going to. Like, he managed to get to his hut. So, Sean Zabo, you said you're at Rob's 5-star. We had an awesome luck last time. Lots of fish, 3 different species, and a 23.25-inch whitefish. You know what? Like, in all the years I've been here, I've only caught one whitefish. It was in 40 feet of water, close to the Manitous out there. And yeah, it was a good one, and it was delicious. I understand that they're not that common here. They're sort of like a unicorn on this lake. But I understand there were some people at one point in time who were very good at figuring out how to catch them here. But I know Cisco seems to be, of a similar fish, Cisco seems to be the one that we see the most of here. All kinds of Ciscos, and they get big. Michael Gates said, "How's the snow? Was it fairly easy dragging the clam out tonight?" It wasn't. It wasn't too bad, but I was on the road coming out here. When I got off the road, it was a little bit thicker. It's definitely not a walker's paradise out here. It's not horrible. The snow tends to be like fairly packed down, but at least there's no slush. At least in this area. So Bruce Dunstall says in Ontario, between September 15th and December 31st, if you're licensed, you can harvest 15 cormorants per day, if anyone cares. Yeah, that's useful information there. I know, like, a lot of people would like to see a lot less of those cormorants around. And I can see they're given very generous limits there. So, Bernie, when you found that 210-foot hole, were you specifically looking for the deepest spot on Nipissing, or did you just happen across it? Yeah, it's starting to get a little dark in here. Let's see if I can. I did bring some lights this time. There we go. The finest dollar store light I ever bought. Now, if only the fish would show up. It's getting a little chillier out here. I might close the door the last 10 minutes here, or I might just power through it. I don't have a heater or anything in here because it isn't like crazy cold. It's just the wind definitely sneaks in here. So Jeff Burnett, he said, when we have noticed when the fish are shy, we would turn off the electronics and they would start to bite. That's very interesting. That's very interesting because the sensors on these fish finders, they emit like a slight clicking sound. It's just like tick, 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 tick. So I've always wondered if okay, there's a fish down there now. Of course, he's just right at the bottom. I've always wondered if that little clicking like annoys them away, but it's like so subtle. But that's interesting to note. Well, that's the first fish we've seen come in on the radar here, so that's good. So the car is parked beside a hut, and I'm starting to think, because it looks like there's a light on in the hut, I'm starting to think that that was where they were trying to get to. But boy, if I was getting stuck out here, I'd probably focus all my attention on trying to get back to the shore before it went dark. So Nipissing Hardwater says, I started the sled beside the hole and the perch started biting. Huh. You know what's interesting is I do a lot of grouse hunting in the fall. It's definitely one of my favorite times of year. And I've had a lot of people swear to me that the grouse come out of the bush to the sound of their ATVs. I thought it was just a bunch of hocus pocus they were trying to tell me. But I don't know, maybe it's true. I think there might be. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if the vibration of the ATVs brings them out. I also don't know if the like running your sled beside the hole and bring them out. That's an interesting thing to think about. I know I've used lots of like noisy lures to attract perch before, and they seem to respond quite well to lots of noise. But when they're on the bite, right? So I don't know. So Mushroom Mojo B says, anybody catching any burbot? I have seen a few pictures of some burbots coming in from some of the operators there, or at least from the people staying at some of the operators. So it seems like the dude in the car has hunkered down. He seems to be parked in front of a hut. And the light's on in the hut, so I'm gonna say he's fishing now. So Bernie says that my father was a good friend of a fishing guide from the 1940s, 50s. He showed my dad, and my dad showed me. Huh. There you go. So David Bennett says -4 feels like -10 now. North Bay. Yeah, I just have a very light jacket on here. Of course, I got the full snow pants, the bib snow pants on. Russell Lamb, yes, people are definitely driving vehicles out here. There's definitely a truck right in front of me. So Jeff Burnett says, a friend of mine who is a pro walleye angler said, when you mark a school, turn off the electronics because they do hear that clicking sound. That's really interesting. And it's funny how much, like when I see a fish come in, like a lot of times I monitor how they react to my bait, like just on my screen there. But it'd be interesting to experiment on what the difference is if I was to see see the fish come in. Like a long time ago, before I used to even use a fish finder, I used to, or maybe even when I had the fish finder, I used to fish by feel, where sometimes I just went, turn the fish finder on. I mean, you still catch fish. You don't have to see them coming in, but at least when you see them coming in, you can sort of get a little bit of an idea. So Nipissing Hardwater says, "Hey Coke, I find the grouse come out once I pass by, and then you do a U-turn." That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, all of my grouse hunting has been on foot, and I find the sweetest time for me is when it's like you got the leaves are down and the leaves are sort of crunchy and you can hear them walk. And that's always the peak of the season for me. But and sometimes I've done like little tricks where I just like walk right off the trail. Of course, you know, you got to have your GPS and all that stuff because it's pretty disorienting out there sometimes. Come on. But yeah, I had times where I've walked just found like a little clearing in the bush and just seen like 4 or 5 grouse hanging out in it. It's pretty sweet stuff. Yeah, that's true. Russell says sound travels through water easier than air. So CW said you had a video of a grouse following you on your 4-wheeler. That's funny. So fish whistle, I'm fishing right now at Sunset Park, Sunset Point here. I know I'm usually doing my live streams down in South Bay, but today doing things a little different. This morning I was fortunate enough to get my clams set up with the tent properly. And so here I am. Of course, I thought I was more ready than I was, as is the way. Anyway, so I realize I'm at my hour mark here, and I probably should start thinking about packing it in because I gotta walk in. So I should probably get up to that pretty soon. Well, there's a fish right on the bottom. Come on. Just give me one fish. I think Corey G told me the other day that he went fishing and he got skunked, so I guess I shouldn't feel too bad. I think of all the live streams that we've done here, we at least caught one fish on each of them. But it looks like the fish are either not here or they're not hungry. All right. Well, guys, I got to go home and eat some food. I thank everybody for coming out and joining me for the live stream. I was going to do the live report separate, but I was running short of time, so that's why I sort of did a report in the beginning of this. So if anybody's curious about ice conditions, once this is uploaded or when it's processed, I guess just you can watch the beginning few minutes of this and get the info. So Aaron Corey say you're heading your way tomorrow morning. Should be on the ice around noon. Awesome. Yeah, I think some of these fish are just cruising through here. So Bernie says I don't use electronics in winter. When on a reef that varies in depth, just set lines deeper and shallow and find the one that works best. I like that idea, Bernie. fish whistle. I have not caught anything tonight, and I also have seen very little on my fish finder as well. Credit. I'm just going to finish up with reading some of these comments here before I wrap it up. But Credit Angler, this is the Striker 4, and I have the ice fishing sensor. All right. Yeah, I'm not giving up on fish until I'm dead, but I'll give up for tonight. But I'll be back at it. All right, guys. Have yourselves a great night. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. And I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes packing up my stuff and walking back in. So we'll talk to you guys real soon. See you next live stream, and I'll be doing some reports early in the week, or a report early in the week, and probably a live report later in the week. So if anybody catches any wild fish, of course they're all wild out here, let me know. Talk to you guys soon.